we live in the world,
We do.
and like the sun's out
Mm-hmm.
and bugs
Yes.
and clean drinking water
Mm-hmm.
and all those things that people deal with
Okay.
that I can't control.
Right.
So am I held responsible by Jesus
Mm-hmm.
and heaven
Okay.
and whoever or whatever for not being able to take care of my body since we just live here and it sucks?
Since we just live here and it sucks. Okay. So, all right, I'm trying to get my head around the question. Are you saying, okay, so if I'm born in a place so that's outside of my control, and I am,
Pretty much I'm born on Earth and lots of stuff is trying to kill me.
Okay.
And in the past more so, but
Right.
there's germs
Sure.
that are just, am I held responsible for any of that?
No, you're not held responsible for the fact that I might be born in a space or a place where there is not clean drinking water. So therefore, getting disease or illness from that water is more likely. And so I'm not held responsible for that. I'm not held responsible for the fact that I may not have clean food to eat. I'm not held responsible for those things. If that's where I'm born, that's where I'm being raised, I'm not held responsible for that. And even if I grow up and now I'm an adult and living in that same, area, and I'm still not held responsible for that. That's nothing that I have, done, if you were. Now, not that we're not at times contributing to unclean water, but a lot of times when you're in places that have unclean water, it's not those individuals' fault that their water is unclean.
Mm.
And so, no, they're not held responsible for that.
So God's not going to get mad that I didn't at least try to move if my situation's bad in an area I'm in.
Yeah, I see. And I think that's one of the things that maybe as Americans we think of, like, well, why don't you just move? Okay. But if I'm raised in a village where being part of that village and being part of that family is really important, okay, and there's not the thought of like mobility, there's not the thought of, well, I can just move to a different village or move to a different city to get the better, a healthier environment. Like that's not a thought process. This is where I was born. This is where I was raised. This is where I'm going to work. This is where I'm going to have a family. This is where I'm going to die. And so the idea of like options and mobility doesn't really even come across the mind that often in those areas. And so so I don't think you're not held to blame by God for that.